Good day everyone and welcome. Football Manager 2020 beta is finally here. This is just a quick run through video looking at the first 10 clubs in the Premier League from Arsenal through to Liverpool. We just have a quick look at each club, look through the transfer policies, the finances, training, youth facilities, any continental competitions, quick look at club cultures, which is new for this year. Have a look at the first team squad, the new development centres, the team report, and the transfer and wage budgets for each club, Arsenal through to Liverpool, just to give you a brief idea of who to manage in your beta save. So let's have a first look and let's start with Arsenal. So with Arsenal, you've got no specific transfer policy. Finances are rich, as you'd expect. The training facilities, superb training facilities, state-of-the-art data analysis facilities, and the excellent youth facilities as you normally associate with Arsenal. They are in the Euro Cup, or the Europa League as we know it. And looking down at the club culture, they like to play attacking football, play entertaining football, and sign players under the age of 18 for the future. So here's Arsenal's first team squad. Just sorted by their level of ability. You can see that the sort of top three players are Aubameyang, Ozil, and Lacazette, as you would probably imagine. You've also got, Leno, Pepe, and I'm not even going to say it, Socrates as the sort of top six players in the squad. All apart from Pepe, they're all getting old, quite older players. You've got a lot of younger players as you come further down the list. If you look at the players with the most potential, you've got a lot of 4 and 5 star, the likes of Torreira, Reece Nelson. So there's quite a lot of players in this squad. Again, I think it's quite an ageing squad for a team that likes to bring through its youth. There is a little bit of younger players sort of further down the list. But again, there are a lot of these older players which you could look to maybe move out. I know Ozil looks like he could be on his way out in real life. Maybe cash in on them now while you can. Looking at the squad depth, they seem to be quite unevenly spread out. You've got all their top players sort of seem to play at the top. Very sort of average midfield. A lot of players in the centre, all sort of 3 stars. But when you sort of look at left and right mid, you're only looking at sort of 2.5 stars. And again, with the defenders, mainly 3 2.5 star players. But obviously not doing too bad in the goalkeeping department. So that is something that you may look at if you were to take charge of Arsenal. Certainly, maybe sorting out this defence and some of these sort of winger options. Okay, looking in the development centre for Arsenal, you've got, looking at the under-23s, you've got you've got quite a lot of players here who've got potential to break into the first team squad after a while. The likes of William Saliba could be 2-star at a minute, potential to be 5-star. It certainly looks like he could be a very solid centre-back, especially with them needing people in that position. Maybe somebody you might look to move into the squad. And up top, you've got Nikita, who again looks like a very good striker with a lot of potential, very pacey. So he's somebody else you could look to start bringing through. Looking in the under-18s, again, not quite as good as the under-23s. There's a couple of players here, maybe Bukayo Saka, again winger. Certainly somewhere Arsenal was short on players on that left and right. Midfield areas, again, very, very pacey, looks very good. Already valued at 16.5 million, so it's definitely a player that you'd look to start bringing into the first team. And finally, looking at the finances for Arsenal, they have got currently only 10 million to spend in the transfer budget. Their wage budget is 2.7 million, but they're already spending 2.4. So you've got about 300,000 to spend spare, so maybe you could look at bringing in 1 or 2 players, but with that only £10 million budget, maybe you could look at bringing in quite a few younger players who you could look to bring through, or you could look at offloading some of those sort of more expensive older players and reinvest that money elsewhere. Okay, Aston Villa, and again, no specific transfer policy, secure finances, Superb training facilities, excellent data analysis facilities, excellent youth facilities, and their club cultures, they've got do not sign players over the age of 28, play attacking football, sign players under the age of 23 for the first team, and play entertaining football. Okay, looking at Aston Villa's first team squad, again I've got them sorted by ability. They've got quite a few sort of players at this 3.5 star standard, which should sort of fill out most of the first team squad. I think the player at the top, the most outstanding, is Wesley, the striker. Very pacey, and you've got lots of other players down here who certainly going to fit into your squad straight away. Looking at the development centre, we'll have a look at the under 23, see if they've got any exciting players. So sorting by development, looks like you've got 3 players here. We'll have a quick look through them. Jacob Ramsey, looks like quite a good attacking midfield player. We've got Dominic Revan, again, very good centre back. Finally, we'll have a look at Jake Doyle Hayes. He looks very good indeed. Another centre midfielder. A few players here that you could look to start bringing through into the first team squad. Almost, probably not straight away, but maybe in 2 or 3 seasons' time. Look at the under 18s quickly, see if there's anyone outstanding in here. We'll have a quick look at Tariq Wright. Okay, looks okay. Maybe you could see how he develops. Aaron Ramsey. Yeah, very good stats. Looks like he could become quite a decent little player. And finally, we'll have a quick look at Sini Salo, who's a goalkeeper. Yeah, again, he may develop, may not. It's one of those. It's hard to tell at this stage. So just looking at the squad depth for Aston Villa, I would say they're pretty. They've got good players in each position. The squad depth's quite good. So not any areas. Maybe this right side of the field, it's only got 3-star, and then you're down to 2.5 in defence, and just 4, 2.5, 2.5 players on this right side of midfield. So maybe the right side of the pitch is somewhere you may look to develop if you were to take charge of Aston Villa. Let's finally have a quick look at their transfer budget. So they've got £25 million to spend, and they are very close to their wage budget. They are only 70,000 under, so you could maybe move some of this transfer budget into wage budget and get in a couple of players, but you're definitely a bit tight on the wage budget there, so that's something you'll definitely have to manage. Next up, we've got Bournemouth. Again, no transfer policy. Secure finances. They've got good training facilities, average data analysis facilities, and average use facilities. And their club culture, they just like to play attacking football and play possession football. And a quick look at the Burnley squad. We've got sort of the top players here, I would say, are Lerma, Fraser, Nathan Ake, and Callum Wilson. A quick look through these. Callum Wilson, very good striker, scores a lot of goals. You've also got Nathan Ake, who's a sort of younger centre back. Ryan Fraser, the winger, very decent. And have a quick look at Lerma. I'm not sure, did he sign? Okay, he signed last season. I don't know much about him. Jefferson Lerma, he looks like a good player as well. So they're sort of their 4 top players. So those are players with the top potential. You've got Dominic Solanke, the young striker, signed from Liverpool a few years ago. And you've also got the top here, Chris Mempum, who is a very decent centre-back. So with the likes of Mempum and Ake, maybe your centre-back, that's a centre-back partnership that could last here for years. And with a young Solanke up top, there's definitely something you can do here with this squad. A lot of English players, I believe. Solanke is English, as is Fraser Scottish, so that's not what I was trying to say. Callum Wilson, yes, English. I knew that they've got quite a lot of English players here, so that's also something that you could maybe try and build into the team. Just a quick look at development centre. A couple of players that might have a little bit of potential to break into the first team. You've got Mark Travers, who is a very decent looking goalkeeper. And you've also got Brennan Camp, who is another young centre-back. He's got quite a bit of development to do to be able to break into the first team squad, but they've definitely both got the potential to do that. Looking in the under 18 squad, not as in depth as the ones we've looked at so far. Maybe the only one who have a quick look at is Jack Wadham, who not the most exciting. One strength. Okay, we'll glaze over that. Okay, having a quick look at the team report. They've got good players in most positions. 3 stars, 4 stars, 3.5 stars in most areas. I would say if I was looking at this squad, centre midfield looks pretty solid. Up front looks solid. Wilson, King, Solanke. On the left, Fraser. Both sides maybe need to look at another left or right midfielder. Centre backs, I think they're absolutely fine. Maybe left and right back somewhere you could look at, considering the best left back is actually their best centre back. And then they've just got 3 sort of, well, Begovic looks like he's out on loan. Or in on loan? Out on loan. Karabag. So that's an interesting decision. So you currently only got Boric and Ramsdale, who are both 2.5 star each. So that's certainly something that you would need to look at. Ramsdale's probably the best choice, but again, there's a few gaps in his game. He's a young English player. Do you give him that first team spot and see what he can do? I'll leave that up to you. And then we'll have a quick look at the finances for them. They've got 20 million to spend, a wage budget of 1.1 million, and they're currently spending 1.15. So they're currently over their wage budget. So that is something you'd have to manage, maybe just in transfer budget to bring that back in line, and see if you've got anything left for a few extra players. Brighton, they've got no transfer policy. They've got their secure finances, superb training facilities, excellent data analysis facilities, and superb youth facilities. And their club culture, they like to sign players under the age of 23 for the first team, and they like to sign players under the age of 22 for the future. Okay, now on to Brighton. Looking at their squad, they haven't really signed that many players from last season. The top players still Lewis Dunk. I was here last season, I thought so. Lewis Dunk in centre-back. Very sort of good player for the Premier League. You've also got Shane Duffy and Pascal Gross. So they've got some good players. No sort of outstanding players. They've got a lot of, it goes quite deep. There's a lot of, 4, 3.5 star players. In terms of people with high levels of potential, you've got Stephen Alzate. It looks like it could be a good player in the future. And you've also got Ben White, who's he's out on loan anyway, but he's a young Englishman. He looks very good, lots of potential there. Looking in the development centre, there's a lot of players here which have got the potential to be sort of 4, 4.5, 5 star. We'll have a look at the sort of the top of the list is Jan Malaka, who looks very good. How old is he? 20 years old. You've also got Peter Guargis, again very decent. And look who people who are already 3-star. Alice McAllister. Okay, very good all-round player. 20 years old. There's certainly a lot of players here that you could start looking to bring through into the first team squad. And looking at the under 18s, you've got a couple of players who've got a little 4-star potential. Probably the top of the list would be Tsongui, but again, not the best stats. Certainly got a lot of development to do to start looking to bring into the main squad. Looking at this squad depth on the team report, again, no obvious areas of particular weakness and areas to strengthen. Ryan, maybe 3-star in goal. Maybe you could look at the goalkeeping area or this right back area and right mid. So maybe the right side of the pitch is something I would look at. And again, up Up front, I think Andoni's out on loan. I believe. Let's have a look. Is he out on loan or in on loan? Out on loan. So loaning out their best striker is not the best. Can you recall him? Let's have a look if they can recall him. No. Okay, so it looks like they've lost their best striker for the season. So you've still got Glenn Murray, got Malpay, and then you start going down into the likes of Trossard and further down. So definitely maybe look at getting another striker. I think especially with Glenn Murray being 35 years old now, I don't think his fitness is going to be the greatest. He has got 20 natural fitness, so maybe I'll take that back. So you may still last acceleration 8, agility 10, pace 10. No, so you would definitely be looking to get in a new striker there, I think. And to bring in that new player, you would be given £15 million to spend. However, in terms of weekly wage budget, you are currently overspending by 36,000. So again, that might have a little bit of wiggle room just to adjust that budget to bring that wage spend back in line, and it may leave you a little bit to maybe get in that extra player that you need. Okay, we've got Burnley. They've again got no transfer policy, rich finances, excellent training facilities, excellent data analysis facilities, great youth facilities. And for the club culture, they like to sign players under the age of 22 for the future. They like to play defensive football. They like to develop their own players using the club's youth system and like to play direct football. Okay, have a quick look at Burnley this season, who have got Danny Drinkwater is probably their top player according to the assistant reports. On loan from Chelsea, done very well at Leicester, never really got a chance to play at Chelsea, and maybe could definitely offer something to this Burnley team. You've also got lots of Gudmundsson, Nick Pope, Toboski, Chris Wood, Jack Cork, a lot of good players in their squad. In terms of young players with a bit more potential, you've got Dwight McNeil, who looks like he's got a lot to offer going forward, and if he could certainly develop into that player, he's definitely somebody you could use in your first team squad. Have a quick look at the development centre. You've got the people with the most potential. Let's have a look. We've got a goalkeeper here who's got potential to be 3.5 star, Bailey Peacock Farrell. Looks like a very good potential player. Bought in this year for 2.5 million, was playing for Leeds last season in the Championship. So how old is he? 22. So somebody you could look at using and developing, maybe send him on loan for the season and see how he develops in the under-18s. Again, we've just got maybe one player worth looking at, Lewis Richardson. It's a bit of potential, but again, with these very young players, it's hard to tell how they're going to develop. And then we'll have a quick look at the team report and the squad depth. The strikers, you've got Rodriguez, Wood, Vidra, Barnes up top. So no issues up there. You've got Rodriguez, Brady, Gudmundsson, Lennon, Drinkwater, Cork in the midfield. In terms of defence, you've probably got Toboski and me as your two main centre-backs with Gibson. Loughton on the right, and Taylor and Oak Peters on the left, and then you've got the likes of Nick Pope and Joe Hart as your goalkeepers. Again, you could bring that young goalkeeper in. He would certainly probably be rivaling Joe Hart straight away. So that's something that you could look at. No real obvious gaps in their team, so it may just be worth looking at, just bringing in a couple of players just to really bulk that out. And in terms of the transfer budget that you would have for that, here, going to transfers, you would be given £20 million to spend, and you have a wage budget of £1 million, but it's currently spending 963,000, so only 40,000 under. So you've got a little bit of wiggle room to bring in a couple of players just to really bulk out that squad. Next up, we've got Chelsea. They've got no transfer policy. Although I believe in this beta you will have the transfer ban. Oh, it says here, rich finances, although they have a transfer ban until the 2nd of February 2020. So you'll be able to get, no players within this first season. They've got state-of-the-art training facilities, state-of-the-art data analysis facilities, and state-of-the-art youth facilities. And the club culture, they like to play attacking football, play possession football, sign players under the age of 22 for the future, develop players using the club's youth system, play entertaining football, and sign high reputation players. And now over to Chelsea. You've got quite a few very good players, obviously. N'Golo Kante, one of the best players in the Premier League. In the centre of mid, you've also got Rudiger as centre back, Kepa Arrizabalaga in goal, Morata on loan, and you obviously still got Azpilicueta, and the likes of Kovacic, Willian, Pedro. As you know, Chelsea have got the ban for this season, so you will be heavily relying on your youth. Sort of the most outstanding two out of those two would be obviously Tammy Abraham, who's had an absolutely fantastic start to the season, and would be up top, rivaling the likes of Giroud and Batshuayi. And you've also got Callum Hudson-Odoi, who will start injured, but once he comes back, will definitely be rivaling the likes of Willian and Pedro. So you'll definitely be looking at these younger players. Mason Mount, who has also started well for Chelsea this season. Tomori, who's played centre-back for most of them. So there's definitely some young players here that you could use in that squad with the current transfer ban they have. A quick look at the development centre. In the under-23s, let's have a look at the top players they've got coming through. Ethan Ampadu, 18-year-old centre-back Welsh. Looks like a very good potential player. Only 18 years old. Be really interesting to see how he develops. A couple of others. Billy Gilmore, I believe, played the other day in the cup against Man United. Looks like he could become a quality player and potentially as good as Jorginho. You've also got Sterling, Maatsen, and Pierre-Emmanuel Ekwa Elimbi. Nice and easy to pronounce. And then quickly in the under-18s, probably the outstanding player there would be Miles Part-Harris. Again, looks very good. Looks like he could have that potential to move up into under-23s and hopefully in sort of 4 or 5 years maybe push towards that first team squad. Okay, looking at the squad depth for Chelsea, they have got sort of the 3 main strikers, all 3-star, so you shouldn't be short of options at the top. The centre mid is very strong with likes of Jorginho, Kovacic, Kante, Barkley, Loftus-Cheek. On the wing, you've got Alonso, Pedro, Willian, Pulisic, Hudson-Odoi. And in defence, you've got Rudiger is the main man, and you've got a few youngsters all trying to push through for that first team spot. On the right, your main choice is Azpilicueta, but you've also got the younger players such as James, who's played a little bit this season. But obviously Azpilicueta is getting older, so maybe the right side of defence is somewhere you would consider once the transfer ban is over. And again, the left-hand side. In terms of goal, they've got Kepa Arrizabalaga, who I imagine will be there for a long time. So I would look at finances, but it almost seems a little bit pointless. I imagine, so that's scouting. Okay, apparently you've got a transfer budget of 120 million, which doesn't really make much sense. And you've got a wage budget of 3.4 million, and you're currently spending 2.6. So it looks like finances are going to work their way up, especially as you're not going to be able to buy anyone for that first season. But it looks like once that transfer ban's over, you're going to have quite a lot of money to reinvest in the squad. And it's up to you whether you want to stick with those young players and keep pushing them through and developing more, or whether you want to spend that cash on bringing in some players who are ready to make an instant impact. Crystal Palace, no transfer policy, rich facilities. They've got good training facilities, excellent data analysis facilities, and good youth facilities. And for the club cultures, they like to develop players using the club's youth system and play counter-attacking football. Over to Crystal Palace, from their top players you're looking at are obviously Wilfried Zaha out on the left wing. You've also got Mamadou Sakho in the centre of defence. And Luka Milivojevic as in that central midfield, very, very decent player. So they've got some quite good players at Crystal Palace. In terms of people with the most potential, you've got Max Meyer, who's got the highest potential here, and 23-year-old German attacking midfielder. Looks very decent. It'd be interesting to see how he develops. In the under-23s, you've sort of got maybe 3 or 4 players who've got the potential to be 3.5 star. quick look through, Kean Flanagan. Looks like he could be decent, but quite an all-round player, all-round central midfielder. Nia Kirby also looks good, another all-round central midfielder. You've got Jade Russell, who has got quite a bit of developing to do on the as a right back, and you've also got Nicola Tavares as a centre back, who looks like is a no-nonsense centre back. Looks very like he could have a lot of potential. Looking at the under-18s. Okay, so no one really outstanding. Maybe somebody's got potential to be 3-star. Again, a lot of developing to do, but they've definitely got the potential to get there. So looking at the team report, you've got Wilfried Zaha, Benteke, Ayew up front. You've got Townsend and Zaha on the wings. You've got Mihailovic in the centre of mid, McCarver, Coates, MacArthur, Maya. So quite a deep depth in the central of midfield. Struggling a little bit at left back. Only 3 right backs, but a lot of centre backs. So obviously got Cahill in from Chelsea this season. Scott Dan, Tompkins, Sacco. So very good centre backs. Maybe we're playing 3 at the back, but again, their left side and right side are probably the biggest weakness. And in goalkeeping, they are absolutely fine with the likes of Goyata. Looks like a very good goalkeeper indeed. And in terms of money to get in extra players, you've got around £30 million in transfer budget. And the club's currently spending £1.53 million on wages, and you've got a wage budget of 1.57. So again, may just want to adjust that transfer budget slightly and give you a little bit more wage budget, and you could maybe look at bringing in a couple of players. Everton have got no transfer policy, okay finances. They've got superb training facilities, superb data analysis facilities, superb youth facilities, and just the one club culture. They just like to play entertaining football. Okay, on to Everton's first team squad. So I'm looking at sort of the key players. I would say the best player they've got at left back, according to this, is Lucas Digne. He's a young French left back. And you've also got Andrew Gomez in the central midfield, along with Fabian Delph, who's injured currently. How long is he out for? 6 weeks and 2 months, so should be back for the start of the season. Alex Iwobi, formerly of Arsenal, out on the left wing. And obviously Jordan Pickford, the English goalkeeper, in goal, with Sigurdsson in the attacking midfielder, who has been a consistently good player in the Premier League for the last 7-8 years or so. And then finally you have got Bernard on the left attacking mid, with really good crossing, dribbling and pace. In the development squad, probably the most eye-catching player I'd say is Anthony Gordon, who's got potential to be 4.5 star, 18-year-old goalkeeper, English, very good stats. Needs a couple of years out on loan, I would say, and then maybe could be a lot better than Keane, who they've currently got up front. Virginia in goal, who looks like a decent young goalkeeper. You've got Benny Banningham. So you've got Benny as a defensive midfielder, who looks very good, all round defensive midfielder, or just general midfield. And you've also got John Joe Kenny on right back, currently out on loan at Schalke. Looking at the under 18s, you've also got Ryan Astley, promising centre back. Looks good. Most of his stats are almost 10 already in that role. Not bad for a 17-year-old at all. Jean-Luc Levan as a young goalkeeper. Only 2 first touch is something to look at developing. And then finally we'll quick look at Liam Higgins, who is a young winger. Again, good physicals, just needs a few more years to develop. Only 16 years old, could potentially get there. Now we'll quick look at the team report. Again, you've got Keane and Walcott, Richarlison up top. You've got Bernard on the left, Alex Iwobi. You've got Delph, Gomez, Sigurdsson, Tom Davis all in this central midfield area. Walcott, Iwobi out on the right. That's maybe an area you might want to look at developing. You've got Digne and Baines on the left, Coleman and Jibril Sidibe on the right, and in the centre you've got Keane, Mina, Holgate. So maybe look at another centre back. I think if I was managing Everton, I'd certainly look at this centre back area and this right side of midfield. And in goal, obviously you've got Stecklenburg and Jordan Pickford. And to bring in those extra players, you've got £10 million in the transfer kitty. You're currently spending £2.26 million on wages, and you have a wage budget of 2.37. So you have about 100,000 per week left to play with. £10 million. That'll be enough to get a couple of players in, or one outstanding player. So that's certainly something you could look at doing. Leicester, no transfer policy again. Secure finances. They've got great training facilities, but they're due to move training ground into Park Hill on the 1st of August 2020. No, 1st of July 2020. They've got superb data analysis facilities and excellent youth facilities. And for the club culture, they like to play entertaining football and develop players using the club's youth system. A quick look at Leicester's squad. A very good start to the season this year. No surprising, at the top of that list is Jamie Vardy, 32 years old, but showing no signs of slowing down. An absolutely outstanding striker. I imagine he'll be banging in plenty of goals for Leicester in this year's Football Manager. You've also got Ricardo Pereira out on the right. Ben Chilwell on the left. You've got Maddison, obviously the young English central midfield player. Wilfred Ndidi, the young ball-winning midfielder. And Yuri Tillemans in centre mid. So they've actually got a very, very good squad this season. It's no surprise really that they've had such a good start to the season with the squad that they've got. The players obviously with the most potential, Chilwell, Ndidi, Tillemans, who we've already looked at, already sort of their top players, but still got a lot of developing to do. But you've also got Filip Benkovic, the centre-back from Croatia. He's looking very good, 18 heading, 15 marking, 15 tackling. Looks like he could be a really, really good player. Signed from Dynamo last season for 11 million. And went out on loan to Celtic. And then also you've got Harvey Barnes, currently 3-star, potential to be 5-star, out on the attacking left mid area. Was at Leicester last season, played 16 times, and had 2 seasons out on loan before that with Barnsley and West Brom. Could this be the year where he finally starts to nail down that attacking midfield left position? Looking in the under-23 squad, they've probably got probably 5 outstanding players to have a look at. We'll have a look at Vicini Diabate. Looks like a very good attacking midfield right player. You've also got Daniel Iversen, who is a young goalkeeper. Darnell Johnson in centre back or right back position. Luke Thomas, who can play on the left back or left midfield. And you've also got Victor Johansson as a 20-year-old goalkeeper who it looks like he's got plenty of potential to have a couple of seasons out on loan and start to push his way into the first team squad. He already wanted on loan by Salford, Wycombe, Stevenage, so you can send him out on loan there and see how he develops. So in the under 18s, just one outstanding player. We'll have a quick look at Sydney Tavares, young centre mid. Looks very good. Definitely needs to work on his tackling, but maybe you could look at playing him in a more advanced role. I think that's probably a bit more suitable for him, especially with that 13 flair. But he looks like definitely somebody you could look to develop for the future. 17 years old, Portuguese player. Have a look at the squad depth. They've got Jamie Vardy up top, but Slimani's out on loan, and then you've got obviously Iheanacho, Barnes and Gray. but maybe you may look at bringing in somebody to play up top with Vardy, or maybe you would play Vardy on his own with maybe an attacking midfielder behind him, the likes of Maddison. But you've also got in the midfield Maddison, Albrighton, Gray, Pereira. Out on his left and right wings, you've got a very strong central midfield area of Maddison, Tillemans, Ndidi, Pratt. Left back Ben Chilwell, Fuchs, Pereira and Justin on the right. And in the centre mid, we've got Evans, Morgan and Soyuncu. So you've got definitely a bit of depth in there. And also in goal, Kasper Schmeichel, Danny Ward and Jakupovic. Yeah, we'll go for that, Jakupovic. So I think you'd certainly be looking at maybe another option in case Vardy got injured. You would be relying heavily on Inacio, who's got good potential, and he could definitely do a job, but whether you would want him in for a long-term injury for Vardy is something you'd certainly want to look at. And in terms of bringing in that extra player, you would have a grand total of £30 million to spend. There's a wage budget of 1.97 million, currently spending 1.89, so a little bit of money to use on wages still. Again, you could adjust that budget ever so slightly and bring in a couple of players to fill in those gaps that they need. But certainly Leicester looking like a very good squad this season. And finally for this video, we've got Liverpool. No transfer policy, rich finances, excellent training facilities, and again they're moving training ground. On the 1st of July 2020. They've got state-of-the-art data analysis facilities and excellent youth facilities. They like to play attacking football, develop players using the club's youth system, sign players under the age of 23 for the first team, and play entertaining football. As you can expect, their top players, you've got the likes of Mohamed Salah, who's just absolutely insane. You've also got Sadio Mane, Virgil van Dijk, who is incredible, and you've also got Robert Firmino. These stats are just insane. Definitely going to be challenging for the top. Looking at people with the most potential, it's the people you sort of would presume to be up there, but also Alexander Arnold, currently only 3-star, potential to be 5-star. Very good English 20-year-old right back. Really good stats. Can you push on and nail down that first team spot for England? I certainly think so, especially with the stats and playing along with these kinds of players. Looking at the development centre, in the under-23s, the most sort of outstanding player to look at is Ryan Brewster, who is the young English striker. So certainly a lot of English players coming through Liverpool as well in their outstanding squad. You've got Sepp van der Berg as a young centre-back, Kijana Hoover in the centre and right-back, right-wing position. We'll quick look through these. Curtis Jones, an English winger again, out on the left wing. And we'll have a final look at Herbie Kane, another English centre-back. Very well rounded, looks really good, actually really good defensive player, good aggression, good tackling. He looks like he could be very good. Value at 5 million. I like the look of him a lot. He could be very good. Quick look at the under-18 squad. Don't quick look. The most outstanding player here is probably 16-year-old Harvey Elliott. Play left or right wing. Again, English, 16-year-olds, looks like a very decent player for the future. Again, some really exciting young English players in this Liverpool squad. Looking at the team report, you don't need me to tell you they've got outstanding front three in Firmino, Mane and Salah. With those three playing up top, you know, it doesn't really matter. They haven't got any really good sort of left or right midfielders as such. You'd be looking at playing these three up top with, you know, the three midfielders behind them, the likes of Wijnaldum, Milner, Henderson, Oxlade-Chamberlain, Naby Keita. Just an absolutely ridiculous amount of central midfielders. On the left, you've got Robertson and Gomez. On the right, Alexander-Arnold, Klein, and in the centre, Lovren, Gomez, Matip, Van Dijk, and Alisson in goal. So, and just an insane squad all round. I don't even know where you'd even start to develop look, maybe bringing in a few more young players, maybe another keeper in case Alisson gets injured. I know you've got Adrian. In real life, he's been outstanding when Alisson's been injured, but he's only rated 2-star in this, so maybe that's an area you might want to look at. But yeah, like I said, not an easy squad to improve on. Looking at the sort of finances that you'd be given to do that, you'd be given £100 million, which is quite a sizable chunk compared to all the other squads we've looked at in this video. They're currently spending 2.74 million, wage budget of 3 million, so you've got about 250 million would be nice, 250,000 in wages as well, so you could definitely bring in one absolutely outstanding player, or you could maybe look at bringing in maybe one or two other players just to fill out the squad even more, or maybe even a lot of younger players. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. We've had a quick look at all the squads, the top 10 in the Premier League. Sorry if it's been a bit quick. I've just tried to shoot through it, have a really quick look at each club, all the bits and pieces that I thought you'd be interested in looking at. If there's a lot of interest in this video, I'll look at doing the next 10 teams. If not, we'll leave it there, but I am looking at maybe doing a couple of saves going forward. So if you've enjoyed this video, you want to see any more, if there's anything you think I've missed, please put any sort of criticism or constructive criticism or anything like that in the comment section. Give the video a like, subscribe if you want to see any more, and hopefully I'll see you again soon. Bye bye.